What's the scariest thing that's ever woken you up during the middle of the night? When I was a kid, we went camping in the woods. I heard what I thought was a bear outside our pop-up camper and it woke me up. Me and my two brothers were sleeping on one side, with me in the middle, and our parents were sleeping on the other side. It was completely dark so I couldn't see a thing, but I could hear what I thought was a bear snorting around outside. I was scared to death. I couldn't figure out a way to climb over my brothers and cross to the other side to wake up my father, without making noise and alerting the bear to the tasty meal waiting inside. So, I just lied there perfectly still for the whole night, waiting for giant claws to rip their way through the canvas. As the sun came up and I started to see, I noticed that the lump that was my father in a sleeping bag was rising and falling with the bear's snorting. Turns out my dad's snoring had kept me up all night in absolute fear. A poster falling down from the wall. I'm pretty sure my neighbors heard my scream. Flat Stanley, is that you? Wait, what? Someone else knows about Flat Stanley. I thought I was the only one. Once I woke up because I heard music playing from the kitchen and I thought maybe Mom forgot to turn the radio off. I went through the dark hallway to the kitchen to turn the radio off, but when I was standing in the dark kitchen, there was no music playing. Everything was as quiet as always at 3 a.m. Monsieur. There's an oldish post on Tumblr about someone who kept hearing carnival music in their apartment, but could never find the source. Turns out that they were having auditory hallucinations. Edit. To anyone who also experiences this, I recommend that you do look into it further to perhaps find its causes or ways to counter it. Also, this reply by you, weeping_demon the 7th of May also be linked to this depending on how you experience these sounds. Greater than no. It's not an audio hallucination, but a form of tinnitus called apophenia and is quite common. My dog barking because cops were banging on the doors and windows of our Airbnb, flashing their lights into each and every room. Monsieur called 911 and she told us not answer the door because she doesn't see cops in our area. Yup. Holy crap, that's terrifying. Smart move on calling the cops. And like then that was it? They didn't send someone over to check it out. The people were just like, well, no one's gonna answer, I guess we can go home now. No. So we were pissing ourselves for 10 minutes. Thankfully Joshua Tree was quick to respond and they sent CHP to the house. When the operator told us it was okay to go outside, we opened the door to 4 cops and the 2 that were initially there were pissed and yelled, "You called the cops for nothing. Your car has been hit." We told them that the operator said there were not cops on scene and they said that Joshua Tree apparently doesn't have their own police department. So the sheriff and CHP both work in tandem, and when you call 911, CHP shows up and I guess the operator can't locate sheriffs. I don't know. Still fucking weird. The sheriffs seemed to be pissed. CHP showed up and we told them that they were banging on the doors and windows, saying that our car got it, when it wasn't even ours. I'm sure they got scolded. I still don't know why they didn't run the plates of the car that got it, and just left a note, and also how the hell they got over the fence. Why hop the fence in the middle of the night and yell at someone to open their door? Fucking scary. Imagine if we were armed. This reminds me of when I was on the other end of a situation like this. I was a park ranger and I got a call in the middle of the night from the government because someone had called 911 in an area with no reception and they wanted me on the scene as I was much closer than the paramedics. A woman had been stung by a bee in the cottage her and her husband were renting and she was very allergic. I got there with EpiPens to spare, and when they got her in the ambulance I had to escort them out to civilization so they wouldn't get lost in the park. I also had to write a detailed report and figure out how the bee got in so it could be fixed and run it again ASAP. In all the commotion I didn't notice the cabin number and just assumed I knew which one it was. I went back, like 3 a.m. now, and checked every inch of the cabin exterior with my flashlight looking for the hole. Checked all around the windows. When I got to the front door, my light happened to shine into the back corner of the cabin and I saw a couple huddling together in the corner, terrified for their lives. I shined the light on myself and apologized profusely, but they didn't move. They just stared at me like I was about to dismember the monsieur. The other rangers ragged on me pretty bad about traumatizing that couple. My cat howling at another cat through a screen in the door sounded like a demon. My sister had an all-white clown doll that hung from the ceiling on a little swing. In the summertime, we slept with our doors and windows open to get the cool air in. When I woke up one night, hearing some tapping against her window down the hall, if I sat up in bed and looked down the hall, and I could see into the front of her bedroom, monsieur, so I did. And I see this fucking clown swinging back and forth against her window, backlit by the street lamp, but clearly staring directly into my soul like it was all it desired in this world. I didn't sleep well that summer. Read that first sentence and said, "You got the wrong one." The night I watched the movie The Conjuring, I woke up to my bed shaking and all the clothes hanging in my closet rattling like crazy. Took me quite some time to realize it was an earthquake and not the devil come visiting. When I was in my final year at high school, I had trouble sleeping at night with my final exams approaching. I think I dozed off for a bit and suddenly woke up to see a person's face staring in through my window grill. I was in such a panic I literally couldn't move or scream. Monsieur, luckily he saw me wake up and escaped. So someone was actually watching you? No, it was probably just the friendly sleep paralysis demon. You said you couldn't move or scream, monsieur. That sounds like sleep paralysis. I think that would be more likely than a person actually being at your window. I woke up with chunks of teeth in my mouth and severe abdominal pain. Probably swallowed some tooth. Then I looked across the room and there was a pool of blood on the opposite side of the room, monsieur. After quickly spitting out the rest of the teeth bits, I went to the bathroom and was shocked to see my entire face was bleeding, but from a deep cut in my chin and not from my missing tooth. I realized that I had sleepwalked, then decided to fall asleep while standing on the other side of the room and did a belly flop straight on the floor. And then somehow after all of that, got up again and walked back into bed and fell asleep for a few more hours. I had to get a new tooth from a student doctor that I've never gotten fixed. I also ended supergluing my busted chin together because I couldn't afford stitches. Greater than couldn't afford stitches. So you're American then. I was drifting off, and was already dreaming, but it seemed I was still awake, because I was dreaming of myself in bed, in my room, but in my dream I was awake. I dreamt some people or person swung through the bedroom door and ran towards me in an instant, and hit me with all their might with some heavy object. I shook awake. It was a similar feeling when you may startle yourself awake because it seems like you're falling. It took a moment for my brain to tell me I was alone. And it was just a dream, monsieur. It was so strange, exhilarating, scary. Never had a dream like it since. Oh my god, I once had a dream where I was asleep in bed, rolled over, and the person next to me was not my husband. He was terrifying looking. He reached for me and I screamed and ran for the door. There was another terrifying stranger danger at our bedroom door who reached for me too. So I screamed again and bolted, and I woke up halfway in the bathroom with my husband going, "Shush, shush. You're okay, you're okay." I think I gave him a heart attack that night. I had a large camel spider run over my face at about 3 a.m. monsieur. That was not a pleasant sensation. Those fuckers are fast as shit and will follow your shadow for hours if they can. Thanks, I hate it. I heard someone quietly trying my front door knob late at night. I wasn't quite asleep yet. I checked with my roommate later, and it wasn't the monsieur. It happened once or twice more, but I never got to the door quickly enough to see who it was through the peephole. Nothing ever came of it. and I live somewhere else now. Burglars do that sometimes. Try looking for unlocked houses or cars. It's easier for them since the effort to get in. But some see it as permission basically. Super creepy. There's a serial killer named Richard Chase that would target people who left their doors unlocked. How he saw it was if a house was locked, the people inside didn't want him there. And if a door is unlocked, it is an invitation for him to enter. The extremely realistic feeling of a bare hand grabbing my foot, which made me wake up instantly, only to realize it was somehow a dream. This reminded me of the time I was lying on my arm so long it went numb. And then I touched it with my other hand and thought it was someone else's arm in the bed with me. That was a startle. I once woke up with both my arms numb, folded across my chest. I was cold. And I realized that's what being in a coffin would be like. It turned out to be funny. Someone was trying loudly to break into a car just outside my ground floor bedroom window that faced a large parking lot in an apartment complex. He was trying to smash the windows and wasn't strong enough, and was yelling a lot. I called the police. I heard every word they said when they showed up. It turned out that he was trying to break into his own car, because he was too drunk to find his own keys in his own pocket. That'll get you a DWI most anywhere in the US. My children, I love them more than anything. But they are some sneaky mofos, and they wake you up in a way so gentle that you don't realize it. Then you open your eyes and they're 3 inches from your face. Like, "Good morning, Daddy." Quote, "It's 4 a.m. Wouldn't change it for the world." I actually joined Reddit because of an AskReddit thread about terrifying things kids do. I remember one mom, who had a bad sunburn, and had just explained to her toddler how it will begin to peel, got woken up by her child, just like you describe, to their kid saying, "I want to peel your skin off." When my friend started wearing a mask for sleep apnea, they woke up to their kid saying, "Don't worry, I'm not going to eat your face." Child was just inches away, and I guess when the parent was startled, that was the logical explanation. BF was out of town and I heard a voice in the middle of the night. My dogs woke up and barked too. Heard the voice again, sounded like a British woman. Grabbed the gun and started lurking the house like WTFFFFFFFFFF. It was my carbon monoxide detector that apparently talks to tell me the battery was low. But it scared the shit out of me for a few minutes. Whose idea was it to design it like this? It had to be done on purpose just to mess with people, cause that's hilarious. I had an industrial-size rat dying from rat poison come through a panel in my closet and up into bed with me at 2 a.m. Monsieur. Well, I'm sure we know how this ended. What are you doing, step rat? Hey Google, can you tell why the fuck this person said that? It's the funniest thing I've read all day. My dog decided to hop onto our piano and started walking along the keys in the middle of the night. Maybe your dog was a cat in its past life. Help, help, I'm being raped. My roommates and I look at each other, unsure of what's happening. Screaming keeps happening. We rush outside. Turned out to be a drunk, crazy woman strutting down the busy road next to our place, being followed by her BF, who was frazzled. Talked to him. Turns out he was one of the neighbors down the street, and he was super distressed. Apparently she did this a lot when she drank, and he was trying to just keep her out of traffic, bring her home. She wasn't of a sound state of mind and clearly was not fleeing someone pursuing her to rape her. Just screaming that so he'd stop following her, trying to keep her out of traffic. What a mess. Poor guy. When I was 18 I'd broken my leg, and it was non-weight bearing, so I was sleeping on the sofa downstairs. Woke up to a guy climbing in the window directly over my head. I'd obviously left the window open a crack and he'd seen an opportunity. To be honest, as scared as I was, I'm fairly sure I scared the shit out of him too, as he screamed and ran away after I hit him with my crutch. Imagine just wanting to break in a house and suddenly you get hit by a crutch. I would be scared too. My roommate screamed directly into my face at 1 a.m. You best know I instinctively slapped that bastard. I did that once to my friend. He did the same that you did, but only once he realized it was me. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.